Yesterday I was in the gym with a friend, right? So we were basically just hitting like behind the back lateral raises like with the cables. And I'd I was just about to start my set and then I see there's this like man lying on the ground like behind these. Basically the way the gym's set up is like, imagine like there's the cables over here, which is where we're working out, and then there's like something called the e-gym, right? So it's basically like where all the old people go, where they have these like electronic like machines that like tell them the reps and everything. And then I can kind of see behind that there's this man lying on the floor, and then there's this woman crouching next to her. And then this woman like shouts out like he's having a heart attack, he's having a heart attack. So I start freaking out, right? So the first thing I do is I haul ass, right? Because like this is kind of my logic. This is like really retarded, but I'm like, oh shit, that guy's having a heart attack. I need to get to the front desk to like tell the people at the gym that this guy's having a heart attack so they can call an ambulance or something. So I start like hauling ass, and this is like 30 meters of just straight hallway and people, right? Because like at my gym, the way it's laid out is like, if these are like, I was telling you, this is kind of like the workout area over here. If it was like way down here, like where my camera is, that's like the end of the hallway, and then that's like about like 30 meters. I'm not sure how long it is, but like about 30 meters of just like straight hallway, then like the locker rooms over here and stuff, so that people like walking through the hallway and stuff. So I start full sprinting as like fast as I possibly can to like get to the end of this hallway, so I can like tell the people at the front desk that this guy's having a heart attack. So I get there, and then they're basically like, I tell the lady like, look, there's this guy having this like heart attack in the gym, and she's like, I know, because my dumbass didn't consider the fact that they had like walkie-talkies and stuff. So if there was one employee in the main workout room, they could have just like walkie-talkied like, oh, this guy's having a heart attack, call 911 to the front desk. So I didn't think of that, right? So ultimately, like, I didn't really help him much. So then I'm like, oh shit. So I run back, right, and I start like looking for like a first aid kit or something, and then I run all the way back, and then I see like they've already got a first aid kit there, they've got people taking care of them. So ultimately, I had no effect, right? I basically just didn't help with jack shit. But the thing is, like, do you not feel more masculine? Do you not feel more comfortable with the fact that, like, knowing that you did do something? Because a lot of you people, I was like this for the longest time, where I literally did nothing. I would just like see shit like that, and I would be like, oh shit, that's crazy. And then I just like go on hitting my fucking workout. Like, I genuinely swear, I swear I was the only person, other than like the lady who like shouted out that this guy was having a heart attack. I swear I was the only person who wasn't a gym employee who was helping out. Everybody else who helped out was a gym employee, or eventually like a paramedic once like or whatever they're called, like the emergency services people, like the doctors came. Like the gym people and the doctors. And other than that, the only other person who wasn't like an employee, like their job to do that, was like the lady who found the guy in the first place. I swear, literally everybody just sat there just watching. And even though I didn't ultimately have any effect on like the final outcome of like helping like save this guy's life, I think he was fine. He didn't have a heart attack in the end. I think he just like, he fainted like because of like blood pressure or whatever. I'm not sure what happened to him. He seemed like pretty fine. Like, he was like awake. They gave him water. He was like kind of laying down. They took him to the hospital. There was a And you won't believe it, but like literally there's like a hospital right across the street. Like, my gym's over here, and then the hospital's like genuinely right across the street. So the guy was probably fine, right? But even though I had no effect like on the outcome, I still felt like, oh shit, I actually did something. Like, there's so many other people who just like sit there just like watching, just like mouth breathing, just like, oh wow, that's crazy, damn bro. And then they just continue hitting their workout, like, what the fuck? Eventually a day is gonna come where something like that happens to either you or your family, where like you break your leg or some shit, and like you're in some kind of like a survival situation. You need to be comfortable with the fact that you can calm down, you can rationally think, and then you can like actually like do shit. Like, you're not gonna be like, oh, having a heart attack, or just like staring. Like, you actually just like fucking like get shit done and like potentially save somebody's life. You need to feel comfortable with your ability to do that. And if you don't, then there's a problem. But don't worry, bro. I was like there at one point, right? I used to be the type of guy who would just be like, oh, damn. And then just like do fucking nothing, right? So how can you like actually autistically level up this skill of like being calmer in high stress scenarios? And I'm not just gonna give you some like bullshit advice, because like that's not something you can practice. That's not something you can like actually practice, of like being in a high stress scenario. Like it's going to come randomly at some point. You never know when. So the best way you can prepare for something like that, it's gonna sound completely retarded, but drop sets. In the gym, basically, there are these things called drop sets, where once you get to failure already, like you push it as hard as you possibly can, you feel the lactic acid, you physically can't push anymore. And then instead of just stopping your set there, you go on, like, let's say you're hitting like overhead tricep, overhead like triceps, what I forget what it's called, overhead tricep press or whatever, right? If you're doing these ones and then you get to failure, you physically can't do it anymore. Then you drop the weight, and then like you lower the weight, and then you go to failure again. That, I know that sounds like really, really autistic, but do more drop sets, bro. Because not only is it gonna build you like a killer physique, like genuinely, I do believe this. Like there was a point in my life where like with that exact specific exercise I was just talking about, like overhead like tricep press or whatever the fuck. I was hitting consistently quadruple drop sets. So I'd get to failure and then I'd drop the weight 4 times and do it again. So that's the equivalent of like 5 sets in one. There was a point where I was doing that consistently, and I made a shit ton of gains during that time. But also, the reason why I'm so grateful for it is like, even though I was probably actually losing some gains from hitting that many drop sets, so I'm not going to tell you to do that much, but still hit like drop sets, right? Like at least one, because that's going to like build up stress tolerance. Like you should be able to, like, while pushing to failure, like while like pushing extremely, extremely hard, if somebody says something to you, you should be able to like say something back. You should be able to say, hold up, give me 1 second, or like, not right now, I'm doing a set. If you can't like rationally almost like kind of hold a conversation in like in a way that makes sense, then you shouldn't like, then you need to work on this skill essentially, right? Like in the same workout, right? When I was hitting like behind the back lateral raises with the cables, I was like on my drop set, and then I was like pushing extremely, extremely hard, and then this guy like next to us, because we were also like supersetting with like the pull-up bar. So this guy next to us, he was saying like, oh, are you like done with the pull-up bar? And I was like mid-set, I was like, yeah, I'm done. And then like while pushing like on drop set, so past failure, I was still able to like hold that conversation. And that skill is something like I credit to like giving me like the ability to like act calm in stressful situations. When you can almost like think rationally through extreme amount of pain. Because if you can think rationally when you're in a lot of pain, it's a lot easier to think rationally when somebody else is in a lot of pain. You know what I mean? So, because like essentially like the stakes are way lower, right? Because ultimately, like I know this is gonna sound really fucked up, but you just have to like bear with me here. When it's like biologically, like your brain's thinking like, oh, your life's at stake, even though it's not when you're hitting a drop set, it's just painful, right? But that's pain on you, right? Even when you're like in that survival situation, right? And you're forcing yourself to like calm down and rationally think, then it's going to be so much easier when somebody else is in that threatening situation and you have to calm down and think to help them, because the stakes are way lower for you, if that makes sense. I know that sounds really, really fucked up, but like that's just the way your brain works. Like if somebody else is going through the pain, you'll be able to calm down even faster because you're used to calming down when you are in pain. Do you kind of understand what I'm saying? I know I'm like on like one of these like autistic rants, but you get what I mean. Another thing you can do is just simply compete in sport more. I know this is gonna sound like really, really no shit, but when you're competing in sport, especially like solo sports, when you don't have a team behind you, like supporting you, and you like feel like a shit ton of nerves beforehand, that will develop this skill like so much, bro. Because like before I did like wrestling and like jujitsu and all these kind of sports where it's very, very high pressure, like the day before like the tournament, like you have like sweaty palms and shit, like that's normal, right? It's extremely high stress, not even because of the match, but because like in your caveman brain, you're basically just gearing up to like go to war and fight somebody, right? That's like what your caveman brain is thinking. So it's like genuinely one of the most stressful things you can do, but also like it's like a fun ass fucking sport, right? So it doesn't have to be a martial art, but maybe it's like triathlon running for you, or like some kind of like cardio related type of thing, or maybe it is martial arts, right? But competing with other people will like increase your stress tolerance so much, bro. Like you don't even know. Like not only I talk about like competition a lot on my channel. I talk about obsession over goals and competition, and these are all things that like help you feel more masculine, right? Like with the goal of feeling more masculine. And honestly, I believe having a high stress tolerance is gonna help you feel way more confident in yourself, because when you do know you can actually, like, if shit happens, like if shit hits the fan, you can like catch that shit midair. If you know what I'm saying, like with that analogy, right? You can like metaphorically like catch that shit midair before it hits the fan. Like no matter how stressful the situation is, you will feel like naturally more masculine. So to sum up this video real quick, just hit drop sets and compete in some kind of a martial art to raise your stress tolerance. Or maybe not a martial art, but like some kind of a sport, ideally a solo sport. I hope this video helped you guys out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.